Welcome to Denver, Colorado, home of Richard Snowden Memorial Stadium and home of the Denver Nightwings as they play host to the Louisiana Revolution in Week 3 of Simulation Football League action. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. Alongside Brandon Walters, we have Mike Daggs and Caleb Giffis in the stats truck. My name is Eric Vinson. I want to thank you for joining us for this presentation of the SFL. And Brandon, we've got two 1-1 teams, both coincidentally losing to DC this season, but looking to get to that 2-1 spot tonight.
Yeah, both losses coming to DC for both these teams, and scores were pretty similar too, so we might be seeing a more even matchup than some people might expect here. I know a lot of people are looking at Louisiana as a potential championship contender, or at the very least a playoff caliber team, whereas a lot of people are looking at Denver more as a rebuilding exercise here. But as someone from Denver, it's good to be back home, and I'm sure that the Nightwings will also be happy to be at home as well, because in this series between Louisiana and Denver, they've played here in Denver 4 times, and the Nightwings have won all 4 of those games. So home field advantage really could be big here. The boys from the Bayou coming up to the Mile High City.
That is a very key piece of information to keep an eye on, as Louisiana looking to go to 2-1 in the very tough South Division here in the SFL. Denver looking to go to 2-1 as well, representing the Central Division. Denver will get the football to start things off, and we are underway here in Colorado. Right up the middle of the field to about the 25-yard line, marking down at the 26. That's Dalton Barker with the return. And we will see Gene Struthers, number 10, come out to man the Nightwing offense.
Struthers has had a decent start to the campaign so far this season. I think that questions were being raised at the beginning of the season, is he going to be that kind of franchise caliber quarterback who can really lead this team to success? So far, I think he's done a pretty good job silencing the doubters.
He's looked pretty good so far, throwing for over 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks this season. Under center with a single back. And he will throw to start things off. Over the middle, and one-handed grab right away for first down yardage. That is Jeremy Mosley, his 9th season in the league.
Jeremy Mosley's been one of the big targets here. 14 catches already for him through 2 weeks. That's the most on the team. He's going to be Gene Struthers' #1 target for sure. And starting off there well with a nice one-handed catch over the middle, get a little spice early on in this game.
Built more like a tight end, but certainly one of the receivers, the 4 different receivers that they have here. 6'3", 250 pounds is Jeremy Mosley as he makes the first catch of the evening here. Sets up a first down from the 39. Offset eye this time. Handoff goes right up the middle. Good yardage. Breaking tackles. Right up the middle is Bailey O'Shaughnessy. He's at the 30. Spin move and gets close to the 25. We'll see where they mark him. Either way, it's a huge play for the Nightwings.
A fantastic play, and what a way to get your first touch in the game here. Bailey O'Shaughnessy is, in my opinion, one of the more underrated running backs in this league. He's able to carry the ball very well as a bell cow back, and I know that there's been some noise recently about Ace Ketchum, the #1 overall pick in this last draft, not getting the ball as much as maybe some people feel that he should be. But when Bailey O'Shaughnessy is able to run the ball like that on their first touch, Denver, the momentum that they're going to get just from one run is so big. They're already in position here to score at least a field goal and hopefully, aiming for that end zone.
A one-handed catch and a 38-yard rumble from O'Shaughnessy are the first 2 plays for this Denver offense, and that is the #1 overall pick, Ace Ketchum there with a gain of 6.
And as you mentioned, 3 plays in, and we're already moving very quickly down the field here for Denver. It's got to feel good to be able to get your first drive off to such a quick start here, make up ground so fast, especially on the ground, because if you can establish that running game early, it's really going to give you a leg up throughout the entire game.
Now R.E. Mills getting into the action, but he has trouble getting out of the backfield. The Louisiana defense all over him there. That's a loss of maybe a yard on that play, maybe 2.
A bit of an unfortunate carry there, I think, just got bottled up behind the line. R.E. Mills is a very, very interesting player so far this season. He's almost at an even split in carries with Bailey O'Shaughnessy, even though he plays fullback. It's a very interesting backfield utilization that the Nightwings have had so far this season.
Struthers in trouble. He's going to fire it right over the middle of the field. That is caught for a first and goal. Once again, Jeremy Mosley with the catch.
A good job by Gene Struthers as well to stand into the pocket there and take a shot really to deliver this ball to Jeremy Mosley across the middle. But again, nice sure catch there, trying to, make something happen after the catch. Bennett there with a good wrap up on the tackle, but another good move. And now 1st and goal, trying to punch it in the end zone. I think they might actually go to the air here.
We'll see what they decide. Too wide, under center. Struthers is going to go to the air. Has time. Throws quarter of the end zone. Picked off. Louisiana puts a stop to the productive drive of Denver with the pick by Evan Arthur. And there were 2 different revs in that area there. That was an ill-advised throw by Struthers.
It's a fantastic interception by Evan Arthur, don't get it wrong, but I think Gene might have misplaced that pass a little bit there. It looked like there might have been some room towards that back corner of the end zone if he lofts it up and over those cornerbacks who are waiting there, but instead kind of puts it out on a more flat trajectory, and Evan Arthur does a great job reeling it in there, and that's a big momentum swing. If you can get an interception right when Denver is looking like they're about to score a touchdown and take the lead on the opening drive.
50th all-time interception on his career, as Evan Arthur gets his first in season 22, and that's a run by Dwayne Salmons for a gain of 4.
Yeah, Dwayne Salmons has been absolutely fantastic so far this season. He's 3rd in the league in carries so far with 41 and 180 yards with those carries. That ranks him 2nd in the league, and 3 touchdowns, which ties him for 1st. He's been doing a great job being the bell cow back for this Revolution offense.
Coming back out in an I formation is Tommy Utah at quarterback. Handoff goes up the middle. That is Chris Grant Jr., who gets maybe a yard, and that'll bring up 3rd and 4.
And his backfield mate, Chris Grant Jr., I know that a lot of people this season have been looking at Louisiana as kind of the make or break for this new running back tandem situation that most teams are trying to find themselves in so far this season. And I have to say, Chris Grant Jr. has not been doing a very good job so far this season. And considering the contract that he has, it might be a little bit dicey when you look at his stats. Only 12 carries so far this season and about 30 yards.
Utah, pocket collapsing, tipped in, incomplete. He was looking for number 81, Levi Lease over the middle there, 4th season in the league. And that's going to be a 3 and out for the Revs off the turnover.
It's a fantastic defensive play there by Luis Quintana, the defensive rookie of the year last year. Great play by the middle linebacker to, get that height. The ball's kind of sailing over him there into that deep center of the field. And if you don't break that up, that could really be a huge reception. But very good job to get up, tip that ball. And now Louisiana's going to have to punt the ball back.
Vita Lee with a good punt there. Fielded just inside the 40-yard line. Bring it out to the 44. That's Dylan Lewis. And Denver will get another crack at the football after turning it over deep in opponent territory in the red zone on their last possession.
It's an unfortunate turnover for sure, but considering you're so early in the game, I like the aggression to really try and stamp your authority on this game by going for that early touchdown through the air here. But considering how well the running game has been going so far, even though only 2 carries we've seen, I think that Denver is in a really good position to really kind of slow it down and run the ball some more.
And there's that run game again. O'Shaughnessy with another good run as he gets it out close to midfield, gain of 7.
I'm very surprised with the amount of room that O'Shaughnessy's been able to get in the middle of the field so far. The Revolution linebackers really, I think, are going to have to do a better job of, maintaining that middle of the field, keeping it locked down, and closing off these interior gaps between the center and the guards a little bit early here because O'Shaughnessy has had a lot of room.
And another gaping hole up the middle there over to the center. We'll see if they run that way. They do. And that is R.E. Mills with 1st down yardage out across the 45-yard line to the 44.
And that's exactly why the Night Wings love to involve Mills in this offense. He provides a different profile of running back than O'Shaughnessy or Ketchum really can provide, that big, hulking presence who can really push forward and gain yards when the front might not be so accommodating.
6'3", 230 pounds, 8-season veteran, 2-time All-Star in the SFL. He gets another carry here. Another big hole there for Mills as he gets a gain of 5.
It's a fantastic job by Denver's offensive line. They've done a really good job of setting these edges and getting up to the second level very quickly here. Again, another run there where R.E. Mills gets the ball and pretty much already has at least 3 yards of free space secured there. It's a very, very good job.
Back out in the I formation is Denver. Another carry to O'Shaughnessy. Slips the first defender and gets close to the line to gain. Marking down at maybe the 35 for a 3rd and short.
a very close one for sure, but very tenacious running there. O'Shaughnessy just slips an early tackle there. Could have been brought down behind the line, which obviously would limit Denver's play calling in a 3rd and 5, maybe even 3rd and 6 situation. Instead, you're here in 3rd and 1, and you can do all kinds of things. You can run the ball up the middle, to the outside, play action, basically anything you want.
Playbook wide open for the Night Wings on this 3rd and short. Handoff again. Mills, big gaping hole once again as he gets inside the 30, and that'll be another Denver first down.
Again, the blocking is just fantastic. All of these guys on the offensive line, just look at them there. They're getting up. That's 3 different offensive linemen getting to the 2nd level there, taking on linebackers, and everyone's got their guy on an island, and they're just not able to shed those blocks at all. You know, it's very, very good job done by this offensive line for Denver so far. They've really made it easy for Ari Mills, Bailey O'Shaughnessy, and Ace Ketchum in this running game.
Handoff back to O'Shaughnessy. Spin move there, slips the defender, and he'll get 5 yards. It seems like the Night Wings are just running at will so far against this Revs defense.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job. You know, probably not at will. I don't think Louisiana would like it if it was categorized that way, because they are putting in the effort. They're getting contact. They just don't seem to be able to tackle anyone. First contact is pretty much almost always being broken by O'Shaughnessy and Mills when they're breaking out of the backfield there. So I think they're going to have to do a better job of wrapping up.
Mills does get wrapped up there. First contact was Slyn Shady, big number 97, and he dropped him for an open field tackle. It's going to bring up 3rd down.
And that's what they're going to have to do throughout the game here. You got to make sure that if you can get to him in the backfield, you have to bring him down, because if you can't and they get out for more yardage there, you know, that's such a backbreaker for your defense, especially when these kind of long running drives get going.
Struthers tosses it out to Mills, and again, an open field tackle where it was needed most as Nathan Blake brings him down short of the sticks, and that's going to be a 4th down.
And that's such a fantastic tackle there. One-on-one with someone of Ari Mills' build, you know, that's a big guy. You know that you're going to have to bring him down very quickly to stop him from getting that 1st down, and you managed to drag him down. That's fantastic work.
Neil Rackers is able to split the uprights and give Denver their first 3 points of the evening. 9-play, 36-yard drive, and that was a much better result than their first possession, which ended in a turnover.
It is a much better result now that you get some points, but at the same time, I feel like Denver might actually be a little bit aggrieved here, because both of their drives have been rumbling really well all the way down into that red zone, and then they kind of stall out or turn the ball over, as we saw in the first drive there. You know, if you're the Night Wings, I think you might be feeling a little aggrieved to not have scored 1 touchdown at least from those opening 2 drives. So a good job by the Revs defense. I think it could be much, much worse. They've done a good job to stymie the bleeding here so far.
Grant is able to bring it out to the 27-yard line. Louisiana will get another crack at the football. Went 3 and out on their first possession. Just over 3 minutes to go here in the first. Utah coming out with an offset eye, 2 wide towards the top of the formation. Handoff goes right up the middle to Salmons, slipping defenders, and he'll get maybe a couple.
I think it's Salmons is down.
Oh, Salmons is down. That is a huge loss there, as he's been putting out impressive numbers in the running game.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been one of the best running backs in the entire league to start off through these first 2 games here. And now you're going to have to lean on Chris Grant Jr., who has had a pretty disappointing season so far for the Revolution, especially considering what they've been paying Cameron Collier and Noah Scott as well at fullback to aid in that rushing attack now that Salmons is out. But that is certainly a huge blow to the offensive game plan for the Revolution.
Next man up, we will see Chris Grant Jr. mount some carries here as he gets the toss, avoiding defenders, bouncing it to the outside, and eventually gets ushered out of bounds by Stephon Forge.
That's a fantastic play by Stephon Forge to really chase Chris Grant Jr. all the way to the boundary and then tackle him before he's able to turn upfield and get that 1st down marker. That's a really great play. Chris Grant Jr. there getting, I think, his 2nd touch so far this game, and that one going for a lot there. Hopefully, you know, Louisiana's obviously going to be asking a lot of him to keep that up throughout this entire game now that Salmons is out for an indeterminate amount of time.
And Grant is going to get the 1st down yardage. Only a gain of a couple. Actually, that was Fisher, number 43, getting the carry.
And that's what's going to happen. You know, they're going to have to go to the bench and try and bring up some of these guys who normally don't get many game reps to come in and say, okay, we need you guys to get these critical 3rd down situations here. And, you know, can the Revolution execute even though they don't have Dwayne Salmons anymore?
This time it's Grant pushing his blocker forward and doesn't get out of the backfield. We've got another injury on the play, and that's going to be Tucker. One of the corners, Andre Tucker, is not getting up.
Certainly not a good thing to see. 2 injuries in very quick succession here. One for either team, and hopefully that this doesn't continue. We don't want to see players going down every couple of plays here. We want to see all of the fantastic talents that are here out on the field tonight. So really hoping that those 2 guys can get back in the game quickly here. Obviously, losing a member of the secondary for Denver either is probably not ideal in any stretch of the imagination. They want those guys to be at full strength.
Second down now for Utah. Looking, fires it, caught. First down yardage into opponent's territory as that's caught by Reggio De Niro.
De Niro with a very good catch there, and Tommy Utah delivering a very good ball there for his first completion of the night here. I think, just a very, very tight window that he had to fit that one in. I believe that was number 20, Xavier Rowe, the third, on that coverage there. Very tight window, but manages to fit it in on a line there. And now Louisiana starting to build a little bit of a drive here. They've got a few first downs in quick succession.
16-yard gain for the first down. Offside eye, handoff. And up the middle he goes to about the 40-yard line, gain of 4 for Fisher.
Another good run by Tony Fisher coming off the bench here. They're going to have to lean on him and Chris Grant Jr., as we've said, a little bit more now that Dwayne Salmons is out. And it seems like Louisiana does still intend on heavily promoting this run game here, which, as we probably all expected, Louisiana coming into the season, a lot of talk was made about their run game being potentially one of the best in the league.
Grant Jr. with another carry, and he'll get first down yardage after slipping a defender there. That'll extend the drive for the Reds.
It's very hard running. Denver, I think, has done a better job at stuffing the box so far early on in this game here, but Louisiana is still managing to grind out some good yardage against these stacked boxes that they're coming up against, and that always involves blockers knowing their assignments and just breaking first contact.
Handoff to Fisher. Louisiana continuing to tote the rock on the ground. Gain of 3 as they methodically are moving the football down the field.
Certainly methodical, just leaning on this running game, get these chunk gains, because if you can get 3, 4, 5 yards of run play, you'll keep getting first downs and you'll keep moving down the field here. And they're looking good to answer on that field goal that Denver put up earlier here and tie this game back up.
Very quick moving first quarter of action as we hit about 30 seconds to go here in the opening frame. Grant weaving through the defense and gets yet another first down for Louisiana. Very good drive, primarily running the football for the Revs.
That's a fantastic run. Look at number 52 there, getting so far up the field in that blocking scheme and able to really lay on the block. That's a center getting about 10 yards up the field to block for his guys. That's fantastic buy-in from the Louisiana Revolution offense and their blockers especially. And when you can get that kind of effort from your guys, you can really start busting open some holes in the running game.
We'll see if they run one more play before the end of the first. 10th play of the drive here for Louisiana. And they will let the clock hit triple zeros as we hit the end of 1. Denver with a slim 3-point lead over the Revolution. But Louisiana is knocking on the door. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. We are live on YouTube. Stay with us. Eric Vincent here, Brandon Walters there. We've got Beck Daggs and Caleb Giffis in the stats truck. Commissioner Cameron Irvine producing as always. Fast-moving first quarter, 3-0 the score. Denver on top. But Louisiana getting close to the red zone here after a very heavy run-induced drive, continuing to run the football with Grant. And that is 9 out of 10 plays they have run the football.
Absolutely, a very heavy lean into this run game here for the Revolution. And I think you can see it in the Nightwings defense. They're starting to get a little bit tired, a little bit slower off the snap, and a little bit slower to rally to the ball here. And it means that Chris Grant Jr. is able to really get more yards than he might have been at the beginning of the game. That first drive, Denver really had these runs locked down.
Fisher gets tattooed right at the line of scrimmage. Big hit there by Stephon Forge.
Stephon Forge has been playing great so far this entire season. He's really been leading a defense that has quietly been quite good so far. The Nightwings defense, I think, has really been underrated for how they've been playing so far this season. Him and Jeff Melanishin have been playing really great football.
Utah to throw, a rare pass for Louisiana. Fires middle of the field and incomplete. It looked like it was a good pass in between two Denver defenders. Twin Screw just couldn't quite hang on in the end zone.
Again, trying to fit a pretty tight window there, looking for Twin Screw across the middle of the field. I mean, that could be a hospital ball if you lead that a little bit further ahead there. Twin Screw might be really taking a shot, but it looks like we're going to bring out the field goal unit here and try and tie this game up for Louisiana.
Otis Boudreau is on for the Revs for a 35-yard attempt to tie the football game up. Snap is good. Kick is up and on the way. It is no good. He missed it. Boudreau does not miss many, and he missed that one wide.
I think that hit the post or maybe at the very top of the post there. I want to see this replay really quickly.
I thought he snuck it in.
No,
he barely
just missed it.
Wow. Unbelievable.
It's very unfortunate.
That will keep it at 3-0 there. Otis Boudreau, the 8th season vet in the SFL, Special Teams Player of the Year in season 17 and 18. Not able to convert there, so Denver still holding a slim lead with 9:05 to go here in the opening half. Struthers gonna throw, fits it in between defenders, and that's caught for a first down, as that is Logan Keel, who just recently passed the 10,000-yard career receiving mark.
Yeah, congratulations to him, and doing good work there, getting another tight ball from Gene Struthers, and making a good catch there. He knows he's going to take a shot from some of those Louisiana secondary members when he gets that catch there, because there's so many people around him, but Gene Struthers fits the ball in well, and he manages to hang on and get another first down.
Delayed handoff up the middle. O'Shaughnessy with plenty of running room as he gets close to the first down, and they'll mark him down just a yard shy. He has been running the ball extremely well this evening.
Both teams have. I think both teams have really found some good success in this running game so far. Denver especially really has been running fantastically so far tonight. Their offensive linemen and tight ends and all the other guys doing the blocking work have been fantastic. And these running backs are so quick to get into the space too. I feel like there's a difference between just being able to identify space and then being able to exploit it as quickly as some of these guys have so far here tonight, especially O'Shaughnessy.
They're going to switch it up with Mills. Mills trying to get the yard he needed and doesn't get it. Big number 99 gets in there. Chance Wall, he had 2 big plays a week ago with a tackle for a loss and a sack.
It was a really great play there by Chance Wall. Just blowing that play up so quickly there. I thought Ari Mills was actually going to be able to drag that initial contact, possibly, get a 3rd down in inches, maybe even get that first down, but instead just absolutely blown up here. 3rd and 1, expecting a run.
O'Shaughnessy checks back into the ball game here. He'll get the carry, first down yardage and more. Slips a defender, couldn't get rid of the second one there as Evan Arthur is able to drag him down finally. But that'll move the sticks for the Nightwings.
I think if Evan Arthur doesn't make that tackle right there, Bailey O'Shaughnessy could have been gone for another, 20, 30-yard run like we saw at the beginning of the game there. Wow, that's a heavy set from Louisiana coming in here. Look at this.
The rookie ace catch him in there. He'll get the carry. Avoids the first defender. Gets dragged down by a couple Revs right at the line of scrimmage. They'll give him credit for a yard. Second down.
I absolutely do not envy Ketchum having to run into that kind of box there. You see 6 down linemen, and then you've got 2 linebackers standing over on top of that there. 8 men in the box waiting for that one. Absolutely, just running into the jaws of the beast there for Ace Ketchum.
Struthers to throw on second down. Uncorks one, finds Keel. That's a first down again for Denver as they start to move the football down the field into opponent's territory. What a play.
Gene Struthers really getting into a nice rhythm here, fitting these balls into some pretty tight windows there. You got the over coverage from Louisiana, but he's able to, place it on that inside break there. The timing is what we usually look at on those kind of routes, As soon, the quarterback and the receiver really have to be on the same page there in terms of as soon as I make the break here to go to the inside, you've got to be throwing me that ball so I can turn and immediately catch it. Gene Struthers, perfect timing.
Handoff, O'Shaughnessy. Trying to avoid tackle. It does. He breaks it to the near sideline. 20, 15, 10. And he eventually gets ushered out of bounds just past the 10-yard line. It'll be a first down and 10.
Another touchdown saving tackle for Louisiana. This time it's Tank Bennett, the safety. Fantastic work from Bailey O'Shaughnessy there, breaking off 2 tackles and then bouncing outside because all the Revolution defenders, have funneled into that interior there. The blockers maintaining blocks, even though the plays might, be breaking down a little bit there. And Bailey O'Shaughnessy, 7 carries for 83 yards already. We're not even halfway through the second quarter, Eric. This is a fantastic performance so far in the running department from the Nightwings.
As you can see there, over 100 yards rushing for the Nightwings offense. Just barely in a quarter and a half, and they're going to add to it, or try to anyway, as Ketchum gets tackled for a loss in the backfield. Slyn Shady getting in there and making the stop.
Blown up from Slyn Shady. That is a fantastic play there. When you're a linebacker who's able to shoot that gap so quickly that you're in the backfield by the time Ace Ketchum gets the ball from Gene Struthers, that's just, your defensive coordinator cannot ask for anything more from you there. That's a fantastic play.
He's not a 7-time All-Star for nothing, Slyn Shady. Brings up 2nd and 12. Struthers, blitz coming, picked up. He's going to throw, end zone, caught! Touchdown, Nightwings!
That's the 3rd time now that they've gone to number 82 himself, Logan Keel, on this drive. And he's caught all 3 of them and a touchdown now. He's rewarded for his efforts so far tonight. Gene Struthers really working on that right side island there, one-on-one. And a fantastic catch from Logan Keel. Good ball placement from Gene Struthers. Now Denver's going up 10 points to nothing here, Louisiana. They're going to have to really, get on the move on offense here and get an answer because Denver has really, really looked good so far this game.
Went back to picking on Arthur, who had a pick on their first possession, but able to get the touchdown nonetheless, as that becomes a 10-0 game off of the extra point by Rackers. If you're new to the Simulation Football League, welcome. The SFL is football for everyone. Get off the sideline and start your player today by joining our Discord server at simulationfl.net. Click the Join the Community button and begin your career, or just to meet the stars of the SFL on and off the field. It's never too late to get involved. Return out across the 30-yard line for the Revs, as that is Fisher. And good starting field position here for Louisiana, as they are down by 2 possessions with just under 5.5 to go in the opening half.
Absolutely. Just want to shout out Stephon Forge there on the kickoff coverage. Very, very good job there to, get all the way down the field and make that tackle. Tommy Utah, I don't think enough people are really talking about the season that he's had to start out so far. Only 1 touchdown thrown through 2 games. I think that he's probably going to have to get a little bit more involved today if they want to pull out a win here against Denver.
And they're going to try to involve him here. Good throw, threading the needle, and that's to Collier, the fullback, who just a week ago we said on the broadcast that he has the softest hands of any fullback in the SFL, and he proved it there.
He's absolutely showcasing those soft hands there. And, this is what we were talking about with Dwayne Simmons out for, possibly the rest of the game here. Chris Grant Jr. and those fullbacks, Cameron Collier and Noah Scott, are going to have to step up and really provide something. And that's a great way to do it in the passing game, coming out of the backfield. A lot of defenses don't pay much attention to the fullbacks, but they can do damage.
Utah to throw again, trying to find a receiver, and it's dropped incomplete. Trying to thread it between 2 Nightwing defenders, and it was intended for De Niro.
Yeah, but Xavier Rowe the third there, very tight coverage again. Coming over from DC, Denver really has done a lot of reinforcing to this defense over the offseason. 5 players coming in as free agents to really revamp this defensive look here for the Nightwings. So far this season, I really think they've done an underratedly great job.
Jeff Melanishin, the former Louisiana Rev himself, coming back to play his former team, as Utah going to air it out. Caught. He caught the business end of that one as well, but Twin Screw was able to hang on to the football and move the sticks for the Revs.
Yeah, again, Mike Twinscrew on the receiving end of a little bit of a dangerous pass and a big hit from a Nightwings defender there. Very, very good job to keep that one and not end up fumbling it when getting hit there. That's a big, big hit from Xavier Rowe III. But now, Tommy Utah is starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm here, finding his guys, and they're moving down the field again pretty quickly here, but last time their drive stalled out.
Swinging it out, avoids the first defender, tackle just shy of the 30-yard line, gain of 6 there for Grant coming out of the backfield as a receiver.
Love the design there. Those swing passes to running backs coming out of the backfield. They're usually, I think they really open up the kind of, they're almost runs in the way that they're quickly given to the running back before the defense is really able to react.
Handoff this time. Up the middle goes Collier, and he gets close to the line to gain. Mark him just shy for a third down.
Good power by Collier there. You know, get it a little bit closer. You're not going to break anything off, go sprinting into the end zone, you know, freaking out, high step and all that stuff. But you get it closer, and now you're in a 3rd and 1. And, yeah, as you can see, they're loading up here. They're going to try and punch it up the middle.
7 in the box for Denver. Handoff. Right up the middle goes Grant, avoiding defenders along the way, and he'll get close to the SFL red zone right around the 20-yard line.
And that's why it's so important to get close to those chains when you get in those 3rd down and short situations, because really you can load up the box offensively at that point. And even though the defense, you know, would probably expect to run, they can never sell out against the run, because if they do, you can just launch the ball right over their head on a little quick pass, and then, you know, that's a free 7 points essentially for the offense there. So when you get in close like that on those 3rd downs, it's very, very key.
Handoff to Fisher, trying to bounce it to the outside. Gets a good chunk of 5 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down as the clock approaches 3 minutes to go here until halftime.
Fisher's doing a good job stepping in here as this new number 2 back now as Chris Grant Jr. moves up into that number 1 spot here. The running game really hasn't missed too much of a beat here. You know, Louisiana has done a good job getting these heavy personnel out on the field and letting them get to work.
Handoff again. This time it's Grant. Only getting a couple. Rolls over the defender. Gets a little bit closer than he probably should. And that's going to bring up 3rd and short.
Stephon Forge, though, a sure pair of arms for sure in the tackle there. You know, I feel like he's always going to wrap up in the end. You know, you might roll over him and get him a yard that you probably shouldn't have, but I think he's always sure to make the tackle. And really, that's a very underrated quality for a linebacker.
Very important 3rd down here for the Revs. Handoff goes to Fisher. Fisher.
Oh,
it's on the turf. And it's still on the turf, and it's picked up by the Revs, but it'll be a huge loss of 7. And it'll bring up 4th down. Boudreaux will have to try it out and attempt a field goal again.
Yeah, that was a very, very crazy play there. Fisher on the run, trying to, you know, make something happen with the spin move. Quintana really lays the boom on him, and it ends up in the hands of the tight end, Levy Lease, who kind of picks it up and, you know, is probably panicking a little bit internally. What do I do with this? But he manages to hang on to it at least. So, you know, Denver doesn't get the ball back and deny points entirely, but now Boudreaux's going to have to come out and try and rectify that earlier miss he had.
From the right hash, he boots it up, and this time it is true for Boudreaux as he cuts it to a 7-point deficit with 2:07 on the clock in the 2nd quarter. If you're liking that game so far, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There is no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFLM action and help the channel grow through your support. Ten-play drive there for Louisiana, capped off by the 35-yard field goal by Boudreaux. Still plenty of time on the clock for the Night Wings, both teams with all 3 timeouts. As it's going to be setting up shop at about the 33-yard line for the Night Wings after Dylan Lewis makes the return.
The Night Wings offense really has been playing great so far tonight. You know, we look at Gene Struthers here, 6 of 7 so far. Obviously, that one miss that he had was an interception, but other than that, he has been perfect so far tonight, really slinging the ball very effectively. Bailey O'Shaughnessy, 7 carries for 83 yards so far on the ground. Ari Mills also getting involved, 6 carries for 17 yards. Ace Ketchum has 3 for 5 as well. You know, they're spreading the ball around a good job, and so far, really, Louisiana has not been able to do much to stop them outside of that interception in the end zone.
Mills, the offset back. Keel goes in motion to the bottom of the formation. 3 on the play clock. Handoff goes to Mills. Sidesteps the defender. Still on his feet and is going to get the toughest 4 yards of his life as we hit the 2-minute warning at 1:56 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Denver with a 7-point advantage over Louisiana. But they've got an opportunity here just before the half to put more points on the board. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. .156 on the clock. Eric Vincent alongside Brandon Walters, Mike Daggs and Caleb Griffiths in the stats truck. Struthers to throw into coverage and incomplete. Evan Arthur's been picked on a whole lot here this evening, and I don't think he's been given them much reason to.
Absolutely. Gene Struthers has been looking on that right side a lot there, targeting Evan Arthur quite a bit so far tonight. And Evan Arthur has made him pay with that interception in the first drive of the game. But other than that, I mean, I think it's been pretty fertile hunting ground for Gene Struthers. You know, Jeremy Mosley and Logan Keel have been on that side a lot, and they've been getting a lot of work done so far tonight when he's been targeting them.
Struthers to throw again, and Arthur almost had another pick. It looked like maybe the receiver slipped on that play. I couldn't quite tell, but Arthur almost nabbed his second pick of the evening.
Yeah, it looked very close there. I think you're right that I think the receiver out there might have lost his footing or just not able to make the break in the way that Struthers was expecting there. Arthur kind of had to twist around behind him to try and reel in that second interception, not able to do so, but a very good defensive stand here. Now Louisiana gets the ball back here with a chance to make this the last drive of the half and possibly tie things up going into the halftime locker rooms.
Twin Screw able to return the ball out to the 36-yard line, so good starting field position for the Revs. 1:41 to go. All 3 timeouts available to them. And we'll see if they can make that a tie game going into the half, which I think would be huge, just given how the game has progressed with Denver's offense, their rushing game just running at will seemingly. A lot of rushing yards on the board so far for the Nightwings.
Absolutely. The Revolution really have struggled to stop this offense so far. It feels like the Nightwings have had a lot of the momentum on the offensive side of things so far tonight here. So if the Revs are able to get into these halftime locker rooms tied or, you know, maybe even take a field goal, go down 10-6 in halftime, I think that they'd be happy really either way.
Grant Jr. lowering his shoulder and getting the extra yards needed to get the first down there as we approach 90 seconds. If you're just joining us, Dwayne Salmon's out with an injury, has not returned. So it's been a lot of Chris Grant Jr. and Tony Fisher manning the backfield for the Revs.
And that's why Louisiana pays him so much. You know, his contract is over $3 million as the number 2 back, which I think a lot of people look at with a bit of trepidation here. But especially in these kinds of situations, you know, Dwayne Salmons is out of the game. You're counting on your backups to stand up and carry the rock for a team that is very run-oriented. And, you know, that's why you got someone like Chris Grant Jr. in your locker room.
Handoff goes to Fisher for a couple yards here as Louisiana calls their first timeout. Gives us an opportunity to send it over to SFL HQ for a game break. Cam.
Thank you, Eric. If you think y'all's offense may be struggling to score points, Portland is struggling in a new kind of way tonight. Hunter McWaffle scores for San Diego. Mavericks lead 13-0 in the first half. Portland had 1 first down, 5 punts, and 29 total yards of offense. Back to you in Denver.
Thank you, Cam. Very tough night at the office for the Fleet, as that is an incomplete pass thrown by Utah. Brings up 3rd and 8 with 1:04 to go.
Yeah, I think he just lost a little bit of the touch on that one there. It looked like he might have sailed his receiver, Mike Twinscrew, just ever so slightly there. Twinscrew's been targeted 3 or 4 times so far this game and has only been able to reel in one of them there. They're having a little bit of trouble connecting there, but Tommy Utah going in the gun here, really, you know, putting out a statement that I'm going to throw this ball. We're going to make something happen here.
John Michael Sudduth going in motion. He was a heavy target a week ago. We have not seen him targeted here tonight. Utah, 3rd and long, fires it quickly.
Oh!
Denver gets an interception going the other way as that Stuart Gotts getting in there and picking off Utah and putting to bed a Louisiana drive that was looking pretty good.
Yeah, both these teams have struggled in these 2-minute drill situations. Neither one has really been able to get much traction. Stuart Gotts coming over from Sioux Falls. I had the pleasure of playing alongside him as my linebacking partner in Chicago this last SFL minor league season, and he was a fantastic teammate. You know, he was the kind of guy that always makes the big impact plays, you know, turnovers especially so. And there's another one right there for Denver, and I'm sure that they're very glad they brought him over from Sioux Falls.
Broadcaster's curse right there as well, as John Michael Sudduth was the intended target, and instead Utah throws a pick, gives the ball back to Denver with exactly a minute to work with and 3 timeouts.
How could you?
I'm the worst. Handoff goes to O'Shaughnessy, and he gets tackled after a 3-yard gain. Timeout is called by Denver.
Looks like Denver is going to try and really get down the field here, possibly punch in another field goal and take that 10-point lead that they had earlier into the locker rooms here at halftime. You know, you get a little bit of something with Bailey O'Shaughnessy, who's been running really well so far this game. You know, I think they might have some faith in him to genuinely break off another really big run.
Struthers throws. O'Shaughnessy, good open field tackle by the Revs as Dante Grimm gets in there and makes the stop forces Denver to call another timeout.
It's a very great tackle from Dante Grimm. This is a bit dangerous, actually, I think, now, because Denver's calling timeouts here, but third down and a pretty far, I think maybe 10 or even 11 yards here to go for the Night Wings offense. If they don't pick this up, they're giving the ball back to Louisiana with a lot of time to try and get back down the field again and score their, for themselves.
Struthers does complete the first down, though, and he completes the pass over the middle to Mosley. They will call another timeout. No more remaining here for Denver.
And now, when you're talking about having no timeouts left for the Night Wings, now about 40 seconds left, you're going to probably see them targeting those sidelines a lot more often, because you've probably only got one, maybe two plays that can end in bounds and still have a safe chance of being able to get the field goal unit out on the field and be able to kick a field goal going into halftime.
Good point is there. Well outside of field goal range here for Racker. Struthers going on cork one into traffic and picked off. Going back the other way are the Revs. That was number 28 getting in there making the pick, Rolleman Hood, and he's had plenty of interceptions over the course of his career.
He really has. And I mean, he's spent his entire career here with the Revolution, so plenty of interceptions in a Revs uniform. He's been here 12 seasons. A really great interception there. Struthers just, I think, didn't really get enough on that one to kind of get it over Hood and into a position where his receiver would be able to catch it and make something happen there. And now Louisiana gets the ball back again here. You got 40 seconds and 2 timeouts to try and get down the field and score some points of your own again here. Both teams really struggling to pull off the 2-minute drill right now.
56 career picks for Hood, all here in a Revs uniform. As the pitch play goes to Grant, he goes nowhere. And they're going to let the clock run a little bit, are the Revs. I think they're content going into the half with the score being the way it is.
It seems like it for sure, and I honestly don't blame them too much here, considering Utah threw a pick on that last drive. I think, you might see where the wind is blowing, so to speak, a little bit, and just kind of be comfortable with going in with this current score, because you're still only down 1 possession.
Handoff up the middle. Grant, another couple of yards there. And we will hit 000s. Louisiana, more importantly, does get the second half kickoff. So I'm sure that is in the back of their minds as they do let the clock hit 000. And they are down by a score at the half. Denver 10, Louisiana 3, as we get a look at the first half stats and highlights.
Both teams have been good so far this first half. I think there's a lot of interesting things to look at here in terms of how both teams are performing, especially on the defensive side. I think both teams actually, the passing defense has been very solid for both sides. Gene Struthers is 8 of 12, 83 yards, got the touchdown, but also has thrown 2 interceptions, including one in the end zone. That's a free 7-point swing that the Revs can take with them. Tommy Utah is 6 of 11 for 72 yards and a pick as well there. So I think both passing defenses have really locked down pretty well so far. Both running defenses have had their struggles a little bit. Chris Grant Jr. has been able to break something off a few times here for the Revs, even though Dwayne Salmons, his backfield mate, has not been out on the field considering that injury that he got early off in the game here. And on the other side of things, Bailey O'Shaughnessy and Artie Mills have been doing a fantastic job running the ball here so far for Denver. And I really think that so far has given them the advantage. It feels like Denver's had a lot of the momentum here, and if they continue the way that they did in the first half, I really do think that they can have a chance to kind of just run out this clock.
Checking out the injury report here for both Tucker and Salmons. Tucker with back spasms. He is out for the rest of the game, and unfortunately for Salmons, he is out as well for the rest of the ball game. So it will be Chris Grant Jr. and Tony Fisher featured heavily in the backfield for the Revs as they get the second half kickoff here in Richard L. Snowden Memorial Stadium in Denver, Colorado. Just shy of the 10 is Fisher, and he's going to bring it up close to the 30-yard line. They will give him the 30-yard line, and Tommy Utah will come out to lead the troops into the second half. 6 of 11, 71 yards, did throw a pick. Not a great night statistically, but his run game is starting to look a little bit better with Grant and Fisher running the ball for him.
Absolutely. And we know that Louisiana tends to lean on their running game very heavily to run through their offense here. But again, Tommy Utah struggling so far tonight and has not really impressed too much across the entire first 3 games of the season so far for Louisiana. I think if you're the Revolution, you really want to see him provide something more for this offense.
Handoff goes to Grant Jr., and he'll get maybe a couple yards on that play.
That's a tough run there for Chris Grant Jr., only able to get a few yards there, and he's being swarmed by Nightwings the entire time. And that's the problem when your offensive line is not able to get to that second level here. Denver knows most likely that the running game is going to be coming at them quite often so far tonight, so those linebackers are really free to stand in and try and clog those lanes as quickly as they can.
Fisher checks back in, avoids the first defender in the backfield, sidesteps another, and really gets positive yards on a play that he should have lost at least 3.
Absolutely. A very good play from Tony Fisher there to shake off Luis Quintana, which is certainly not something that most people can claim, and able to really make something out of nothing there. I think if they dropped him there and you're looking at 3rd and 12 or so, I would really be betting money on Denver to be able to get a 3 and out. But now the Revs 3rd and 3, I think their playbook is pretty open here, but it looks like they're going to go run if we judge on this heavy set that they brought out.
Denver coming out, loading the box as well. They'll send pressure. Grant Jr. going to try and bounce on the outside and does not get the needed yardage for the first down. Stephon Forge has been all over the map tonight as he makes another important stop for the Nightwings defense.
Absolutely. His 7th tackle of the game so far, just coming out of halftime. He's been all over the shop for Denver, doing a fantastic job of shutting down these runners.
Lee with her second punt of the evening. Fair catch called for and made at the 22-yard line. And that's where Denver will take over to start their second half offense. Struthers looks pretty good. 8 of 12, 87 yards through a touchdown. He's thrown a couple picks as well, though. The big highlight for Denver's offense has definitely been Bailey O'Shaughnessy and company in the run game.
Yeah, I don't think that Gene has actually necessarily played a poor game at that quarterback position. I think those picks, maybe just a little bit of a loss of control on his part, but I do agree with you. Bailey O'Shaughnessy and Ari Mills have been fantastic so far tonight.
And O'Shaughnessy is breaking one out again, gets close to the line to gain. They will give him the first down on forward progress. And it seems like every play tonight from O'Shaughnessy has been at least 10 plus.
I mean, if you look at it, he's averaging 10.7 yards per carry so far tonight. So he really has been fantastic. 9 carries for 96 yards. Look at that, though. 67 of those coming after initial contact. He has really done a fantastic job so far tonight. I cannot speak highly enough about the way that he has run so far.
Delayed handoff. Ketchum gets buried in the backfield as the Revs are ready for it that time. Shady getting in there with the stop along with a couple of others, and that's going to be a loss of 1.
It's the second time now where Slyn Shady has absolutely blown up a running play there. I think that time it was probably a little bit easier for him considering it's that draw concept. And if you key in on the running back when a draw is coming out, you're pretty much guaranteed to make a big play in the backfield there. But poor Ace Ketchum, just really not able to get any kind of luck so far tonight.
Struthers tried to fit one into Mosley. Tight coverage by the Revs secondary, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and long now for Denver.
I'm surprised they're not going back to that right side of the field to try and pick on Evan Arthur some more. Gene Struthers has been looking to that right side of the field a lot so far tonight, especially in these critical situations there. 2nd and long, you really need to try and get some yardage here because now you're looking at a 3rd and 11. It's going to be a lot easier for the defense to predict what you're doing.
Struthers hit as he's thrown, and it's incomplete. The pressure was very fierce and very quick for Struthers, and he barely got that one away.
He'll feel that one tomorrow morning. He's probably going to need an ice pack or maybe even about 5 on that one. Just took an absolute gut shot there, trying to stand in the pocket there. That's usually what you want your quarterback to do, is stand up, stand tall in the face of that pressure and try and deliver a throw there. But when it comes in that quickly, really, you just kind of have to take the shot, eat it, and say, hey, we'll come back better next drive.
So back-to-back punts to start the 3rd quarter here. Fielded at about the 30-yard line. The Revs will get a yard on the return by Twin Screw as he brings it out to the 31.
Louisiana getting another chance to move the ball down the field here. I think that it's telling that despite, it feeling like Denver has had the majority of the momentum and the majority of the offensive production, as we can see through the team stats screen there, this game is still only a 7-point difference. Denver's only managed to score a total of 10 points so far this game. So Louisiana has still managed to hang in here despite it feeling like Denver has dominated most of this game.
Chris Grant Jr. with the carry, and he'll get 3 on first down there, and that's a good point. It really does seem like Denver has had a lot of the momentum, but yet it's a one-score game. Louisiana hanging tough with the Nightwings.
And I think a lot of the credit has to go to the Revolution defense because they've done a great job at limiting the bleeding as much as they possibly can here, getting turnovers, getting stops, just, trying to contain Denver as much as possible. And it allows their offense, even though they're not really able to get much going so far tonight, they're still, in with a shout.
Well, and the loss of Salmons as well is huge as Forge makes another tackle there for no gain, brings up 3rd down. Losing Dwayne Salmons out of your backfield is huge as you're forcing to rely on Tony Fisher, who's kind of an unproven backup. Chris Grant Jr., as you stated, very capable back, but doesn't get a ton of opportunity. He's been getting some here tonight, and we'll see what the Revs do here on 3rd and 6. Grant going to get the carry, or the toss coming out of the backfield. Stiff arms the defender. He's got first down yardage and more as he's eventually ushered out of bounds by Xavier Rowe III for first down.
And that's what makes the mark of a quality running back, really. You're coming out of the backfield there, and you got to get the first down. It's about a few yards away. You got a very, very good linebacker in Luis Quintana coming up one-on-one. You got to take him on and beat him if you want to keep your team moving here. And that's exactly what Chris Grant Jr. does. He's stepped up very well. As you mentioned, the absence of Dwayne Salmons is certainly a huge vacuum in this offensive plan that Louisiana was coming in here with. But Chris Grant Jr. really has, I think, stepped up pretty admirably so far.
Utah throws, and it's picked off somehow. It's going back the other way. Denver somehow was able to, it looked like the receiver had a step on Nick Kindler, and yet somehow, some way, he is able to rip the football away. What a play by the corner.
That's a fantastic play. I mean, look at the break on the ball there. It looked like he was about 2 steps behind the receiver when that ball was thrown by Utah, but instead he somehow manages to make up the ground there and get himself in between the receiver and the quarterback, pick off that ball here. And Louisiana, again, struggling really, really hard to move the ball, especially through the air so far tonight. Tommy Utah has had a lot of trouble getting anything going through the air. And really, Denver needs to try and get some good points on this drive here. They cannot afford to not score again.
Struthers shovel pass there to O'Shaughnessy, and that goes for a loss of 1. By the way, that pick is our nice hands catch of the game, brought to you by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it, SFL 4K23. A very rare loss on a run play for the Nightwing offense when O'Shaughnessy carries the football, brings up 2nd and 11. Struthers, pressure coming from his backside in a hurry, and he gets crunched as he barely got that one away.
It looks like that's Louisiana's answer to try and rattle Gene Struthers a little bit here so far tonight, because he's been quite accurate outside of the interceptions that he's obviously thrown, is to send the pressure at him, really. He's taken 2 big shots on back-to-back drives here so far tonight, and Louisiana might be trying to rattle him a little bit, get him to miss his throws, get him to possibly even turn the ball over again, just try and get in his head.
3-man rush. Struthers pinpoints a receiver, and that is Dalton Barker with a first down, getting close to the SFL red zone is the Nightwings there, and that was a huge 3rd down conversion.
A great catch by Dalton Barker. It looked like the Revolution just kind of, looked like they went into zone coverage and just sat a bunch of their guys on that first down marker there, saying, hey, Gene, you got to throw it to the first down marker. We know that, so we're just going to sit here and wait for you. But I don't think they were really expecting the routes to actually end up going that deep there. And Dalton Barker manages to find a little bit of a soft spot in that mid zone, sit in it, and Gene Struthers puts it on a wire to him. It's a very, very good play.
Keel going in motion. Offset eye, handoff goes to O'Shaughnessy, who goes up the middle there for a couple of yards. Grimm comes in there and makes the stop.
Louisiana has done a better job so far this half at limiting O'Shaughnessy and Mills's gains that they've been able to get on the ground so far, especially, as we come through the half of this quarter here now. These last 2 drives, I think, O'Shaughnessy really has not been able to get too much going so far.
Struthers, quick throw. Finds Mosley, who gets close to first down yardage, marking down just a few yards shy, and that brings up 3rd down for the Nightwings.
And that's what I wanted to see the last time that Louisiana brought out that very heavy 6-down lineman set, was to just throw a quick pass there, get it out onto the boundary, because with so many people in that close interior box there's just not enough Revolution defenders on the outsides to cover all those routes. So if you can get that quick pass off, it's essentially free yards.
Struthers trying to find someone, fires end zone and incomplete. He was looking for the tight end, Chris Alter, but could not quite connect. And again, going towards that back corner of the end zone, Brandon.
Exactly. The first time it was a little bit too shallow, ended up being an interception for Evan Arthur. This time, Gene Struthers says, I'm not going to make that mistake again. So he kind of sails it a little bit too far there for Chris Alter to kind of reach out and get it. Looked like there might have been not necessarily interference, but definitely a little bit of bumping from some of the Louisiana secondary members there, just trying to get Chris Alter a little bit rattled on his route there. Unfortunate for Gene not to be able to connect there, but they should get a field goal here, bring that lead back up to 10 points.
Rackers with the 33-yard attempt.
Oh, no.
The upright. Broadcaster's curse on you. Your part, my friend.
I'm the worst, too, apparently. Oh, no. That's... Jokes aside, that is such a heartbreaker for the Night Wings, They have struggled so much to really turn this advantage that they've had for most of this game into points, into a lead. They're still within striking distance of Louisiana here, and I would argue they should probably be at 20, 23 points so far tonight. It's just these kind of mistakes are what let teams stay in games and what ends up turning into losses on your win-loss column.
There's no worse sound in football than the sound of a doink off of the upright from your kicker, as that falls incomplete there from Utah, brings up second down. And you're absolutely right, Brandon. It is going to come down to who makes the least mistakes, because both of these teams, Boudreaux has missed a field goal, now Rackers has missed a field goal, both quarterbacks throwing picks, as Utah almost threw another one there, going back the other way again, as Kindler wanted a second helping.
You're not kidding. Kindler going back for seconds at the dinner table there. I think you're absolutely right about, these guys really just need to clamp down on these mistakes here, because it feels like both teams are trading mistakes. You want the ball, you can have it. No, I insist you have it. It just feels like whoever can really settle down and limit these mistakes is going to have a really big advantage, because both of them just seem to not be able to stop making mistakes.
4 minutes to go here in the third and 10. Utah alone in the gun. He's got 4 wide, trips towards the top of the screen. Utah checks it down over the middle, diving grab, but it's going to be short of the line to gain, and that'll bring up 4th down for the Revs.
I really don't know how much I agree with that choice by Tommy Utah there. You're in the gun. You've got plenty of space there to step back and really take your time evaluating the field and try and make a throw that can get that first down for you. And instead, you kind of just immediately take that check down there, which is never going to get you a first down. I really don't know how much I agree with that throw from Tommy Utah.
Fair catch called for and made at the 37-yard line, so no harm, no foul on that missed field goal, other than the obvious, not putting 3 points on the board. But no, that is not a typo on the screen. I was going to say the yardage, but never mind. 3rd down efficiency, obviously. Struggling throughout the game, I'd say. Denver with a pretty good percentage, but Louisiana certainly struggling a little bit on 3rd down. And it's starting to rear its ugly head here in the third, as neither of these teams are able to put any points on the board. And we are just about done with quarter number 3. Struthers under center, going with that little pitch play, the little shovel pass to O'Shaughnessy. This time he gets 1.
Yeah, these little draw plays for the Night Wings really have not worked out so far tonight. It's a very good job from the Revolution defense to not get fooled by that. We've seen teams that have been, absolutely taken advantage of on those draw plays here. So good discipline from the Revolution to not fall for those kind of plays. But Denver, really does need to kind of get moving here.
Mills in motion, goes to the H-back spot, handoff goes to O'Shaughnessy, and the Revs have done a much better job with limiting Bailey O'Shaughnessy in the run game, as Shady gets in there and makes the stop for no gain.
Absolutely. They have done a good job shutting down O'Shaughnessy in this second half. He has not had anywhere near the amount of space that he had in the first half. And I do want to give a special shout out to Slyn Shady. He has been playing fantastically in that outside linebacker position. The amount of runs that he's just completely blown up before they even really get going.
Struthers, another dangerous pass there, as it looked like he just floated one over the receiver's head. Hood almost had an opportunity in another one, and that's going to be fourth down.
Yeah, I believe there has to be some kind of miscommunication there with the receiver. And I think you could see in Logan Keel's expression there, he's kind of, clapping his hands. I think he's saying, I got that one wrong, because it looked like Struthers was expecting a completely different route from the one that he ran there. And that almost turned into an absolute disaster there. Thankfully, no interception for the Night Wings, but they got to punt the ball away again.
We have had nothing but punts, a missed field goal, and an interception. We have had 0 points on the board for either team during the course of this entire quarter. And shoot, to boot, we've had, 4 technically 3 and outs, including the interception. So it's been just offensive calamity here for both teams.
Yeah, but at the same time, both defenses really have clamped down in the second half here. And, I think a lot of people like to talk about it as, oh, the offenses are playing terribly. I like to be a little bit more optimistic, turn the focus to the other side of the ball and say, hey, both of these defenses really have locked down in the second half. They're both playing fantastically in all phases.
That is a very good point there, especially the Revs, who allowed a ton of yards to O'Shaughnessy, and O'Shaughnessy has gotten next to nothing here in the third quarter as Grant is doing his best to get the first down there on the first play. He'll get close, as that's a gain of 9.
I have to say, Chris Grant Jr. really has been the bright spot for this Revolution offense in the second half here. Tommy Utah has not really been able to move the ball at all for them. So, kind of leaning on someone who is normally your number 2 back here. And he's really showed up so far tonight and done a decent job. Not fantastic. 14 carries for 47 yards, averaging 3.4. Not great, but certainly not terrible.
Fisher and Collier the backs this time. Fisher gets the carry. He'll get the first down as we approach under 2 minutes to go here in the third.
Good run by Fisher there. Just, when you're in those short yardage situations, the assignment is very simple. Get up the middle of the field as quickly as you can and just secure as many yards as possible and hope that you get that first down. He did very well to do that there, even though Stephon Forge came in and made another great tackle.
Handoff back to Grant, and again, another tackle by Stu Gatz getting in there. He's been around there, around the line of scrimmage, I should say, pretty much all game long, along with Stephon Forge.
Absolutely. The linebacking core really has been fantastic. Quintana, Gotts, and Forge have all made big impact plays so far tonight. The linebacking core really has done a good job of shutting down Chris Grant Jr. and the rest of this running game so far tonight.
Fisher with the carry. Finds room, does get first down yardage as he drags the defender with him. That's Quintana. And again, Tony Fisher not getting a whole lot of reps in this Revs offense. He is filled in nicely.
Absolutely. But that's what, the philosophy is next man up. You got to be ready at all times to get in on that field and contribute in a good way. And that's a very well-designed run from the Revolution there. They know that the Night Wings have been clogging the middle of the field with their linebackers a lot because they keep running it up the middle. So when you take it outside like that, like they did with Tony Fisher there, it should, hopefully, in theory, open up a lot more and give you a lot more room to work with there. And that's exactly what Fisher saw. There's plenty of daylight.
Pitch goes to Grant. Stiff arm. Trying to bounce it outside and eventually gets dragged down after a gain of a couple.
There's a good tackle there from Lucas DeVore, the free safety. I have to say, number 23, Nick Kindler, I saw him there making a little bit of a business decision, not making the tackle there as Chris Grant Jr. was shaking off that first one. But, maybe, he'll probably play it off as, I was sealing the edge, when they get that one in the film this week.
Pitch goes to Fisher this time, and again, the Denver run defense clamps him down right at the line of scrimmage. No gain there. Good stop there by Malinishin, the former Louisiana Revolution member.
Well, he's already got 4 tackles for loss so far this season. He's done a really good job of containing running games so far coming in from Louisiana. There might be a little bit of bad blood there for him.
Utah uncorks one of the field and incomplete, looking for John Michael Sudduth, but guess who? Malinishin once again laying the lumber on his old teammate and jars the football loose.
That's what he said. Hey, Sudduth, remember me, buddy, as he kind of lays in the elbow there and breaks that pass up. That's a great defensive play there. Utah, for the first time in quite a while, airing it out and going deep there and really relying one-on-one, tight end against safety. I think a lot of teams would probably take the tight end there and be like, yeah, we have confidence in our guy to make that catch, but really just a fantastic play by Melanishin there.
Vita Lee trying to pin them back and does. As the clock hits triple zeros, Denver will start the fourth quarter at the 17-yard line. We will pause just a moment for league rights. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music.
Of the Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Everybody get your fours up in the chat. We got one more quarter of action to go here from Denver in Richard L. Snowden Memorial Stadium. Eric Vincent here, Brandon Walters there, Mike Daggs and Caleb Giffus giving us those saucy stats from the stat truck this evening. And a big stat there. Look at that. 5 carries, 13 yards in the second half after O'Shaughnessy just ran at will in the first half. So a great job by the Revs defense to put an end to that, at least for a quarter. We'll see what the fourth quarter has in store for us here as O'Shaughnessy gets the carry to start. And it takes just about the whole Revs defense to bring it down after a gain of 5.
And I'll be the first to congratulate Bailey O'Shaughnessy on a 100-yard game, you know, assuming that he doesn't somehow manage to lose quite a few yards here in this last quarter. But as you mentioned, you know, really a tale of two halves for Bailey O'Shaughnessy. That first half, he was running roughshod all over this defense. The second half, the Revolution run game has really come to play here. They've done a really good job shutting him down.
Mills gets the carry this time. Stiff arm and gets close to the line to gain. He had stiff arm Chuck Diesel to try and get there, but they're going to mark him just shy.
A little unfortunate there. I thought he might have actually had the first down marker there, but third down in what? An index card, maybe?
Hey, now.
Hey, got to bring out the chain gang.
Third, and we'll call it a chest hair. Handoff up the middle, and that is a first down for Denver as they give it to number 45. And I actually don't have. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Charles Stackhouse. Yes, sir. Thank you.
With Hall of Fame name, by the way, Charles
Absolutely.
Stackhouse. Built like a brick house going through that hole there, getting those critical yards.
Mills now the offset back. He gets the carry, and he'll get about 5 yards on the play. Denver content with running the football, it seems, and draining some clock, not giving Louisiana an opportunity to stay in this ball game for much longer.
I don't necessarily blame them either. Struthers has had a lot more trouble so far this half throwing the ball. You know, he's been much more errant with his throws, and the one thing you really, really cannot risk is turning the ball over again here, because you have to assume at some point that Denver defensive dam is going to break. You know, you've relied on them quite a lot so far this half to keep getting stops on this Louisiana team, but I think at some point you have to really put the onus on the offense to get some dang points.
Handoff goes to Stackhouse again. He only gets a gain of 1 as Diesel and company are in there to make the stop. Brings up third and short.
3rd and 4. I think you could probably still try and run the ball here. I think, you know, they've been pretty good with the yardage here, as long as you probably take Stackhouse out and give it to someone like O'Shaughnessy or maybe Mills. But they also can definitely pass here. They haven't tried Gene Struthers yet this drive, but, you know, I think when you run so much in a row, you might be able to lull that defense into a little bit of a false sense of security.
Mills and O'Shaughnessy, the back. Struthers going to sling it out Mills' way, but the Revs defense was ready for it. Great tackle by Dante Grimm, as he's able to make the tackle for loss, and that brings up a 4th down.
It really is a fantastic play. It looked like the Nightwings were trying some kind of screen there. You saw a lot of pressure coming through on Gene Struthers, but a lot of defensive or offensive linemen were going out on that left side towards R.E. Mills there, but it looked like, I think Dante Grimm just had it seen from the beginning there. He knew what they were doing, and he just absolutely blew it up, following R.E. Mills immediately over to that left side.
Fair catch call for and made by Twin Screw. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. Only a 31-yard punt from Denver sets up shop for the Revs here as they fire it over the middle, and that is close to midfield as Adam Banks, number 80, makes the catch, and the Revs are in business right away.
A great catch. The first time in a while now, I think, that Tommy Utah's been able to get a completion through the air here. Just to touch on that stat that came up on the screen for a second there, 8 drives in this half so far, 6 punts, an interception, and a missed field goal. So no points the entire half, and really a lot of struggle from both these offenses. Defense really have been the watchword this second half so far.
Handoff. Grant Jr. lowers his shoulder and gets close to the line to gain, bring up a 2nd and 2. As they touched on in the third quarter, it's offensive calamity. But at the same time, both of these defenses playing extremely well and rebounding here in the second half to keep the score where it is.
And I don't necessarily think that it really is as much offensive calamity as some people might think. It looks like the offenses are executing their plays pretty well. It just the defenses really have been reading them very well. There's been a lot of great, spectacular individual plays here. Stuart Gott's making another really big one right there.
Another one right there as Fisher got that carry and Gotts was all over it. Loss of maybe a couple on the play brings up 3rd and 5 as Grant Jr. checks back into the ballgame.
And again, I don't think that's an offensive mistake there. It just looked like Gotts knew what the play was going to be and just arrived in the backfield there immediately to blow that play up.
Utah to throw. Pressure coming from his backside. He's going to throw it into coverage and incomplete. Got hit at the end of that play there, was looking deep into enemy territory, and Malinishin was there to make the stop and force the incompletion.
Again, Malinishin on the coverage, I think he really has been doing a great job locking down those longer passes. Tommy Utah, I think, really has been trying to air the ball out so far in the second half. He's gone a lot deeper than he was at the start of the game, and it's a very good job from the Night Wings defense to shut that down, say, hey, Tommy, you're not going deep on us. You can take the short yardage, you can take the runs, but you're not going to get that home run play. Oh, no!
And Louisiana is able to pick it up, and guess who? It's Fisher getting in there on the special teams action and getting the fumble recovery.
Wow. What goes around comes around for Louisiana there. Oh, man. And that's why, so many special teams coaches will tell you, if you think you can break a return off, go for it. But if there's anyone even within like 15 yards of you, just wave that arm, call for the fair catch, because that is such a huge momentum swing now. Louisiana is in a prime position to try and get a touchdown now and tie this game back up. And that's such a big swing considering how hard it's been for Louisiana to move the ball into a scoring position all half.
Utah from the red zone fires, caught by about the 5-yard line. 1st and goal for the Revs. De Niro with a huge catch.
Another great catch out on the boundary by De Niro there. I believe that's his second catch there, for 32 yards. Doing good work there on that outside boundary. And now in one pass, they go from the 20-yard line to the 5 here. And now Louisiana is looking in a much better position to really try and punch this ball in here. I would not be surprised at all if they give the ball to Chris Grant Jr. here on the first down and say, hey, man, can you get 5 yards?
And instead, they're going to give it to Fisher. Johnny on the spot that got the fumble recovery, and he's going to get a yard as Gotts makes another tackle, brings up 2nd and goal.
I suppose that's a good way to reward him for picking up that fumble. Hey, good job on the turnover. Now we'll give you a chance to try and get in the end zone here on this 1st and goal. Now coming out, looks like a split back set here for Louisiana. Very, very heavy set, though. I'm sure they're going to run the ball here again.
Collier and Grant. Grant gets the carry, tries to find the end zone and doesn't get there. Gotts, once again, is able to make a clutch tackle and stops him just before the goal line.
And this is where, as a defensive guy, you really want to stand tall here. 3rd and goal from like the 1-yard line. If you can stop Louisiana here and hold them to a field goal, that's an absolutely massive, massive, massive stop for your defense.
Collier motions out of the backfield. Fisher, the lone offset back. Utah under center. Carry goes to Fisher. Leap, and he doesn't get it. Denver stops him right at the line of scrimmage, forces the 4th and goal.
Luis Quintana. What a fantastic play from the former defensive rookie of the year last season. He's maintaining that pedigree. What a fantastic stop there to stop a diving Chris Grant Jr. 4th and goal. This might be the game.
Handoff. Grant Jr. stoned. 4th down. Stop at the goal line for the Denver defense. And the Night Wings will take over.
Wow. Talk about setting your defense up in a no-win scenario there. Fumbling the punt return. That's such a great series from the Night Wings there. Fantastic job to stand up on that line there, on the goal line, and say, no, we are not going to lose this game. We're going to get the ball back for our offense here. Now, I will say, though, really have to be careful to not take a safety here. Louisiana is absolutely going to send the kitchen sink, the entire house, the block at them.
Very dangerous spot here for the Night Wings as a reward of their goal line stand. Struthers under center in an offset eye. Mills is the back. He'll get the carry right up the middle.
Whoa.
Buries a defender there. Evan Arthur is going to be feeling that one. He's going to need a soak in the cold tub tonight.
Poor Evan Arthur has been getting picked on all game. Gene Struthers was targeting him quite a lot there, and then Artie Mills just says, hey, sit down, buddy, and get out of my way because I'm getting away from this end zone here. And now you got a little bit more breathing room. The ball's on the 5-yard line now, so you can even potentially take a pass and drop back and hopefully, not end up taking a sack and a safety at that kind of distance here. I'm sure, though, that Denver is going to want to try and run the ball again here just to be safe.
Stackhouse now the back. O'Shaughnessy lining up at fullback.
Very interesting.
Denver trying to use a lot of that game clock. Stackhouse with the carry, lowers the shoulders, dragging defenders, and gets the first down out across the 11 to maybe the 13-yard line.
It's a great run by Stackhouse. Very interesting design from Denver to have the running back in the fullback position and the fullback in the running back position there. Certainly not the way that you probably end up drawing it up there, but I like the call to give the ball to one of your big fullbacks, Stackhouse in this case, and Artie Mills on the last down there, and really let them bulldoze forward and get some breathing room. And a first down here, they're draining a lot of clock. We're under 3 minutes now. This has the potential to be the last drive of the game here because they have so many yards to go here that you've got plenty of time to run the ball and plenty of first downs to get.
O'Shaughnessy still at fullback. Mills the tailback. Once again, Denver using a lot of that game clock. Handoff goes to Mills, trying to bounce it to the outside, get out of the backfield, avoids a couple tacklers, and does get a few yards and manage to stay in bounds. The clock will continue to roll.
Absolutely the most key part of that play there. I was worried that he was going to run it out of bounds there and end up stopping the clock, but instead he manages to bend it back into the field of play, get another couple yards, and still keep this clock running here. Now I'm assuming Denver's probably going to try and take this to the 2-minute warning here, and at that point Louisiana really needs to start looking at their timeout situation here. You've still got 3 timeouts, but a 2nd and 5 here. I think if Denver can get 2, maybe 3 more first downs here, they might be able to just end the game on this drive.
No reason to take a snap here. You can take it to the 2-minute warning if you like. And Denver does indeed like. 2 minutes to go. They are up by 7 points. Nightwings 10. Revolution 3. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music live on YouTube. Do not go anywhere. Eric Vincent and Brandon Walters with you on the call. Mike Daggs and Caleb Giffis in the stats truck. Commissioner Cameron Irvine producing. Delayed handoff. O'Shaughnessy with a head of steam does get the first down with 1:56 to go. Louisiana is going to burn their first timeout. Tomorrow night, SFL action on YouTube begins with Canton's top-ranked defense welcoming Baltimore to Fatherhood Festival Field at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Other games include Tulsa quarterback Michael Brown's return to Motor City, Carolina, D.C., and L.A., Atlanta. For the full schedule of kickoff dates and times, visit simulationfl.net. Handoff. O'Shaughnessy on first down. Doesn't get anything. Going to bring up second down. Louisiana with their second timeout.
This is the set of downs that Louisiana is staking the game on here. They're saying, hey, we're going to stop you on these 4 downs here. We're going to get the ball back, and we're going to go score a touchdown here. And if Denver can manage to get a first down here, they'll be able to run out this clock easily here. So these next couple of downs are the game, essentially. These are critical plays.
Handoff again. O'Shaughnessy with a lot of room. He's going to get a first down and more. And that'll pretty much do it for the Nightwings as Louisiana burns their final timeout. They will have no more opportunity to stop the clock. And the Nightwings are going to walk out with a very well-deserved win.
And it felt like for that one play right there, that one run for Bailey O'Shaughnessy, we were back in the first half there where Louisiana really had not done a good job of stacking the box and getting the stops that they had been throughout the second half here. There was a lot of room for O'Shaughnessy to run that ball. They get the first down, and they're going to take away a great win here, certainly a bit of a nail-biter. I think the defense was asked to do quite a lot this game, and they delivered. Credit to them. They did a fantastic job shutting down this Revolution offense.
I was going to say the same thing. Individual effort, individual player of the game, I'd say O'Shaughnessy just for his efforts in the run game. But collectively, if I'm nominating a unit, it is the defense for Denver. That goal line stand was absolutely impeccable and exactly what the Nightwings needed in order to keep themselves in the ball game. Following a muffed punt on top of everything else, the Revs set up shop golden at the 20-yard line, already in the red zone, and they stopped him at the goal line. It was just an absolutely great job by the Denver defense.
Absolutely. A lot of teams, when something like that happens, a muffed punt, and you feel like you're about to get to come off the field again. Instead, you have to get back out there and stop a team that is so close to scoring that critical touchdown. A lot of teams fold mentally and physically in that kind of situation, but not Denver. And I'm glad you shouted out Bailey O'Shaughnessy for your player of the game, so that way I don't take as much heat for saying that my player of the game has to be Luis Quintana, because that kind of effort and that stand on the goal line is absolutely what won Denver this game here. I have to go with Luis Quintana 100%. And, the funny thing is that even though I'm going to shout out Quintana, there's so many other great defensive players on Denver tonight that also deserve their props. Stuart Gotts, 5 tackles, 2 for a loss, and an interception. He played fantastically. Stephon Forge with 9 tackles did a really great job. Jeff Malinishin, only 2 tackles and 1 assist, but he really broke up a lot of those deep balls there. You could look at a lot of players on this Denver Nightwings defense and say that they had fantastic games.
As the clock hits triple zeros, we had an absolute thriller here in Denver. Defensive battle in the second half, and much of the game overall as Denver comes away with a 10-3 victory over Louisiana. As we get a look at the final game stats, just a great job again by both defenses, making adjustments and making sure that both offenses, what they were doing well, wasn't going to work in the second half. Denver's rushing offense was slow to a grinding halt, and Louisiana could not get anything going in their rushing game just when it looked like they were about to turn the corner.
Absolutely. And it shows when you look at these stats here, both quarterbacks completing barely 50% of their passes. Tommy Utah was 10 of 20 for 117 yards, 2 interceptions. And even Gene Struthers was 11 of 20 for 111 yards, 1 touchdown, but 2 interceptions as well. I think both defenses really, really had fantastic games, especially in terms of pass defense. Both running games, I think, did get a decent amount of traction. Chris Grant Jr. stepped up well for Louisiana when Dwayne Salmons went out and had a very respectable game as well. Bailey O'Shaughnessy, of course, fantastic game on the ground for Denver. But I do think both defenses really did stand up and provide quite a lot here for both of their teams, and that's why this game came down to such a defensive grind fest.
Well, on behalf of Brandon Walters, Mike Daggs, and Caleb Giffus in the Stats Truck, Commissioner, Producer Extraordinaire Cameron Irvine, my name is Eric Vincent. Thank you for tuning in to this presentation of the Simulation Football League. Have a good rest of your night.